Welcome one and all to the Cine Geeks podcast where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. I'm Roy, joined by my co-host Angela.
What's up, everyone?
Hi Angela, and welcome to all of our fellow Cine Geeks listening today. So, for our episode, ngayon, we are going to be talking about Marvel's Secret Invasion. And we're gonna try to dive deep into possible reasons as to why, in our opinion, nag-dip yung quality nung mga recent Marvel projects, especially this one.
And it's also the lowest rated Marvel series in Rotten Tomatoes.
And I won't actually dispute that fact. Ako mismo yung magsasabi na agree ako doon 100%.
Yeah.
Diba?
And that's also mainly the reason why we will discuss and dissect why it's the lowest rated.
That is correct. So, for everyone who is listening for the first time, please, if you want, you can join the Cine Geeks conversation over on our Facebook page. Just search for the Cine Geeks podcast. We are also on Instagram and on Threads.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you. And we also are getting not really messages, pero we are seeing a few of our fellow Cine Geeks.
Yeah, our pod babies.
Yes. So, you know who you are. We thank you for listening. We hope you enjoy our work so far. So, we'll get right to it.
Okay, let's do
so, Secret Invasion is an adaptation. Actually, hindi nga adaptation. Parang kinuha lang yung...
Far from the adaptation.
Kinuha lang literal yung pangalan nung parang big comic book event. Like the MCU does for its quote-unquote major parang mga crossover events. Kasi yung Age of Ultron, hindi naman siya anything like Age of Ultron.
In the comics.
Yung Infinity War,
slightly.
Konti.
Yeah.
Pero ang daming wala doon sa initial na kwento. Wala si Adam Warlock.
Wala
yun.
si Mephisto.
Yun. Wala yung si Eros.
Si Eros.
Yun, big part siya doon sa comic book na Infinity War, pero wala
kasi
siya.
it's about Thanos.
Oo.
And his rivalry with his brother Eros.
So kung gaano siya ka-insecure doon sa kapatid niya.
Sa Infinity Gauntlet comics yun.
Kaya niya niligawan si Death.
And he was rejected by Death.
Oo. Yan. So gusto niya ending. Well, ito yung comics na Infinity War.
Yeah.
Gusto niyang i-alay kay Death yung half of the universe.
Yeah.
Para sagutin siya. So sad. Mas okay
sad boy Thanos talaga siya.
Ito na yun yung opposite. Yun yung opposite nung quote-unquote Secret Invasion theorem that states that any Marvel adaptation that gets the name of a crossover event is bad. Yun yung baliktad yung Infinity War. Kasi yung original niya na comic, medyo ang corny, cheesy, masyado. Pero yung naging movie,
was more epic
diba?
Than the comic event.
Mas maganda siya. Pero, going over Secret Invasion real quick, okay? Kasi, and we are going to just spoil the hell out of this. Kasi
because we don't care.
We don't care. If you want, just listen to what we say so you don't have to waste 4 to 6 hours of your time.
Well, it's not that much.
Watching a show that goes literally nowhere.
It's very short.
Diba? Okay, so, when we left Nick Fury off at the post-credit scene pa ng Far From Home.
Yes.
Okay? Pagkatapos din nating malaman na yung Nick Fury and Maria Hill nakasama natin during that movie, si Talos at saka yung asawa niya. Nalaman natin na yun na nga, nasa
Skrulls
space
sila.
lang. May Skrulls on Earth, pero employed sila ni Nick Fury.
Yes.
So, si Nick Fury, andun lang siya sa taas, sa Saber, yung space station niya. Ngayon, fast forward to today, present time, sige. Nalaman ni Nick Fury na merong mga Skrulls na nagre-rebelde.
Mga rogue
Skrulls.
Rogue Skrulls, yeah.
And they are led by the Skrull named Gravik.
He's also a Ken.
Yes, portrayed by one of the Beach of Kens.
Yeah.
Kingsley
Ben Adir.
Kingsley Ben Adir. Yung hirap. Sorry.
Yeah, I always confuse him with Ben Kingsley. I don't know if anyone else.
Ang hirap i-pronounce ng pangalan niya. No? Tama ka, nasasabi ko Ben Kingsley Adir yun na nasa utak ko.
Diba?
Kingsley Ben Adir. Okay.
Yeah. Parang Mandela effect no?
So, he portrays Gravik. And Gravik is the one leading the rebellion of the Skrulls by essentially taking over the identities of world leaders. So, ang master plan niya ay gusto niyang pag-away-awayin yung buong Earth. Tapos mag-nuclear war, tapos maubos. Kasi immune sila sa radiation.
Yes.
Yan.
And they're stationed in Russia.
Russia, yung kung saan yung New Skrullos. Yan. Ngayon, yung inciting incident na itong palabas na to, merong threat na na-detect yung friend ni Nick Fury na parang MI6 agent ba yun or MI6 director, si Olivia Colman. And they have information daw na it's going to be perpetrated by Skrulls.
Yes. She's a new character, by the way.
Sonya Falsworth ba yun? Pangalan niya? Si Sonya. Spoiler alert, she's the only good thing about this show. Now, at the
she's such a delight.
Oo.
She's my favorite.
Nakakatuwa siya.
Parang nagkakaroon ulit ng buhay yung scene every time nandiyan siya.
Gusto ko yung kung gano'n siya yung ka-jolly.
And sassy and witty, no?
At saka yung lalo na yung kapag siya, yung nagtathreaten siya ng tao. Na parang, kamusta ka na? Talaga, tanggalin ko lang yung ngipin mo Tapos, babaliin ko lang yung daliri mo din. Sige. Diyan ka lang.
You remember what I said? To describe her?
Ano?
She's the murderous Mary Poppins.
Yes.
Diba?
Please wait. I'm going to get a pair of plies from my bag. Okay? I'm just going to take off your pinky finger. Okay? No need to make noise.
Okay. Toodaloo.
As in talagang siya lang yung parang nagbibigay ng buhay dun sa dun sa show. And anyway, long story short, may mga namatay si Maria Hill. Kasi pinatay siya ni Gravik disguised as Nick Fury.
Yes.
So, ngayon, parang on the run ko si Nick Fury kasi, bakit niya pinatay si Maria Hill? Tapos yung nag-accuse sa kanya of being a double agent is si Rhodey. Si War Machine. Colonel Rhodes or si War Machine. Yan, yung pangalan niya. Ngayon, eventually, nalaman natin na Skrull pala tong si War Machine or si Rhodey. Kasi ang plano nila, gusto nilang dumikit doon sa president. By the way, Rhodey is already the Secretary of Defense.
Yes.
Parang ganun. So gusto nilang mapalapit kay president. Actually, the president is also portrayed by the guy from My Best Friend's Wedding.
Yes.
Yung pinag-aagawan ni
Julia Roberts, tsaka ni Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz. Yun isa pa yun, si Dermot Mulroney. Sino yung inaano ko nun? Na pagkakamalan ko dun. Di ba si Jerry O'Connell?
Di ba si Hugh Grant?
Parang ganun. Oo, magkakamukha sila yung mga...
He looks like Hugh Grant.
Yung mga political boy yung 90s. Magkakamukha silang lahat. Anyway, so, plano nila was to make sure na all these countries fight each other by being Skrull versions of the leaders of these countries. Kasi, kaya nagalit si Gravik kasi hindi tinupad ni Fury yung promise niya na bigyan sila ng... To find the
Skrulls a new home.
Yes. Oo. So ngayon, sabi niya...
And that promise was made back in Captain Marvel pa. Back in the 90s.
Oo. Ngayon, ayoko namang maging sobrang negative. Immediately. Okay? Kasi alam kong mamaya-maya non-stop na tayong ganon. Pero meron akong isang na-appreciate na ginawa niya. And
what's that?
It deconstructed the legend of Nick Fury.
Yes.
Gusto ko yung ginawa niya na parang pinakita niya kung saan nagsimula si Nick and saan nanggaling yung power niya na meron niya na parang kitang-kita natin nung, di ba, nung post-credit scene ng Iron Man.
Yes.
Back in 2008, Back in 2008, sobrang nating in awe seeing Samuel L. Jackson tell Iron Man about the Avengers Initiative. Diba? Parang mind blown tayo nun. Tapos biglang ngayon nalaman natin na kaya pala siya ganun ka-powerful na the Nick Fury. Dahil doon sa mga Skrulls na tumulong sa kanya after Captain Marvel. Diba?
So, he did not single-handedly jump the ladder of command in S.H.I.E.L.D.
In S.H.I.E.L.D., yes.
May tumulong sa kanya.
Oo. Ngayon, ang gusto ko sana na hindi tinuloy yung storyline na yon.
Okay.
Especially after binungkal siya. Tapos parang sinabi siya na, meron tayong new side of Nick Fury na nakita. Yung, ang nag-prop up sa kanya from his lowly desk job doon sa S.H.I.E.L.D. at the end of Captain Marvel, itong mga Skrulls na nirecruit niya para maging personal spy network niya.
Yeah.
So, yun yung parang isa sa mga revelations dito sa show na to. Na all this time, kaya naging sobrang powerful ni Nick Fury is because of the Skrulls helping him behind the scenes, led by Talos or Talos. Yun. So, gusto ko na nung nalaman natin na siya yung Nick Fury na nagbuo ng Avengers, he's not all he's made out to be. Hindi siya yung sobrang cunning, powerful. Oo, ganun siya pinakita. Pero merong naglagay sa kanya doon. Hindi siya yung parang matik agad na wits and his power. Hindi siya yung parang si Tony Stark na dahil matalino, dahil mayaman, may resources siya. Hindi siya parang si Thor na God. Literal. Kaya siya ganun. Malalaman mo na, may cheat code siya ba?
He's standing on the shoulders of all the Skrulls that died just to make his missions successful.
Yes, I agree completely. Tapos may isang part doon na sobrang hindi naman siya parang mind-blowing. Pero it's a fun little puzzle piece that completes the picture post-Avengers 1.
What's that?
Yung date nila ng misis niya sa Paris.
Yeah.
Diba yung parang okay, honey, kamusta ka na? Parang galing lang ako office, tapos pinakita mo yung diary na binabasa ng misis niya na
Avengers 1.
Avengers Saves New York. Parang ganun, di ba?
What year was that? 2012?
2012 pa. Oo, di ba? Kaya yung mga ganun, doon ko na-appreciate yung show na to. That it took time to plug in some of the gaps that our MCU knowledge needed.
It tethered us back to the saga and the characters that we knew.
Also, by the way, may isang mind-blowing revelation dito sa buong show na to. And do the honors, please.
Well, Nick Fury, turns out, is married. He has a wife.
First mind-blowing thing, Nick Fury married? Tapos biglang second mind-blowing thing,
she's a Skrull.
Pero,
he didn't know?
Alam niya.
Okay.
Ang pagkakaintindi ko doon is, meron siyang, correct me if I'm wrong kasi ito yung pagkakagets ko doon sa usapan nila ni misis niya ni Vara.
Okay.
Vara/Priscilla. Yung pangalan. So, ang pagkakaintindi ko sa sinabi ni Vara sa kanya is, meron siyang crush na doktor. Si Nick Fury.
Okay.
Yung si Priscilla Prime. Tawagin natin ganun.
The human Priscilla.
The human Priscilla, if you will. So, Vara finds out that Priscilla is sick. And she has a terminal disease. So, mamamatay na siya.
Okay.
At the same time, dahil part si Vara nung spy network ni Fury, parang napapalapit sila yung relationship nila.
Okay.
Tapos, nung namatay yung Priscilla, human, tinake ni Vara yung form niya. Tapos, nagpakasal sila ni Fury. Si Nick Fury tsaka si Priscilla.
Okay.
And sila yung mag-asawa pala. Yun yung pagkakaintindi ko. May iba ka bang way na naget na ano mo yung backstory nila?
You mean all the while, he knew na she is a Skrull and she took the face of a human that he also knew who died?
Oo. Kasi parang nung first moments na...
This was in the flashback scene.
Hindi pa flashback to. Yung diba? Yun, sa flashback din. Parang tinanong din siya ni Fury na parang, why did you take that face? Parang ganun, diba?
I remember that.
Yun. Na, kasi, gusto niyang mag-take ng face na gusto ni Fury.
Yes.
Kasi in love siya nga kay Nick. Yeah. I think the mind-blowing revelations end there. Kasi literally, yun lang yung mga ni-reveal nung show. So, it's played so straightforward na Nick Fury comes down from his space station to battle a threat.
Yes.
An existential threat. Again.
Okay.
Kung hindi pa nakadagdag dun sa sobrang daming existential threat dun sa mundo ng MCU.
Pero hindi mo nga ma-feel yung existential threat
Di ba?
It's not that threatening.
Di ba? yun nga. It's so sad that the most compelling, in my opinion the most compelling Marvel storyline is reduced into who's who. Actually, hindi nga lang who's who eh. Hindi ko alam kung alam mo to. Ng bata ka, may board game na ang pangalan Guess Who.
I think I know that
diba?
game.
Alam mo yung Guess Who, yung meron kang parang mga flap, kayong gano'n doon. Tapos may mga muka. Tapos bibigyan ka ng muka. Tapos tatanungin nung kaharap mo kung ano yung nasa mukha nung card mo.
So parang Pinoy henyo.
Parang Pinoy henyo ng muka.
Yeah,
diba?
I know that.
Yun lang siya. It's a 6-episode game of Guess Who.
Oo, kasi yun nga parang they played out the shape-shifting thing too long na sometimes hindi na siya surprising. Medyo may sawa factor and predictability factor.
Oo.
'Di ba? Parang okay.
Kasi ito din pa.
And ito pa yung isang pinaka mind-blowing reveal pala. Since Rhodey is a Skrull.
Yun, oo.
Since when is he a Skrull?
Alam mo, ito naman naalala ko na naman yung Mephisto eh. Yan na naman tayo, parang, yun nalalabas na Mephisto. Yun nalalabas na Mephisto. Yun na talaga si Mephisto. Tapos bigla natapos yung WandaVision. Asa si Mephisto? Tapos ito tayo, para tayo.
Did they propagate that
diba?
rumor na lalabas si Mephisto?
Hindi, yun na nga, hindi nga eh. Pero hindi din naman sila gumawa ng anything to dispel it.
Feeling ko kasi parang masyado nilang pinwrap up yung WandaVision as House of M.
Well, I mean, we are talking about why Marvel sucks now. So let's lay the foundation as to why. So
I just wanna be a little bit in the middle about this. I don't wanna hate it too much.
Well, I didn't like it because it wasted my time.
True, but it can be a lot of many things. Katulad nung halimbawa, another thing na sobrang hindi nagme-make sense, si Gaia, also actually, she's not a new character. She was introduced in Captain Marvel.
Diba?
And ito pa, magkakilala sila ni
Carol Danvers
at saka ni Monica Rambeau. Kasi parehas silang bata, diba? Nung sa ending nun, nandun sila sa stairs, nagkakilala sila, naglalaro sila together, remember?
Yes. Tama.
I hope they don't forget that. Na magkakilala na si Gaia at si Monica Rambeau na lalabas sa Marvels, di ba?
Oh my God, nakalimutan ko nga pala. Ito pala isa pa, sige, spoil na natin. Gaia, played by Emilia Clarke, turns into a food processor superhero.
She is the Avengers. She is the Avengers and the Black Order and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
We are not exaggerating. She is literally everybody. As in talagang alam mo yung, hindi ko alam kung anong hinahabol nilang response natin nung yung dulong quote-unquote CGI mishmash na naman na
maybe Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. Doon tayo papunta.
Oh my God. Sana.
Hindi talaga sa Kang Dynasty.
Sige. Kung yung gagawin nila doon sa Deadpool 3, i-reset nila yung buong MCU din kasama ng Fox. Magagalit ka ba o hindi? Kung i-erase nila yung phase 1 to 5.
Actually, if you look at what's happening behind the scenes, lahat ng issues ng mga stars nila, since basically canceled na si Kang, si Jonathan Majors, wala na rin yung Namor nila.
Wala na.
Mas magandang Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe na lang talaga. Doon na lang, yun na lang yung gawin nila.
Alam mo, ito naisip ko din, maganda din kasi siyang maging way para makapag-introduce sila ng bagong Black Panther.
At saka, ituloy na lang nila sa Fantastic Four and X-Men. Total, wala na eh. Hindi mo na maitutuloy yung Secret Wars kasi nga, ganito na yung nangyari. Hindi naman nila na, it doesn't make sense talaga.
Yeah.
Tapos, yung Kang Dynasty naman, yung multiverse, kinalimutan na. How about all those new characters they introduced?
Yeah.
Nasaan na si Shang-Chi?
Ito, sige. Okay, thank you for bringing us into focus doon sa ating next na part neto.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll just bookend it, that quote-unquote review of Secret Invasion. If you really like the MCU, just you have to give it siguro isang pasada. Just one pass. Okay. Because you owe it to yourself to know where this thing goes. And as much as we may not like it, it's part of the story.
Mm-mm.
So just know where it takes you. Pero just also know that it's not going to give you the answers you want.
True.
Yan. It's not going to give you any form of satisfaction at all.
It just gave me more questions.
And it literally ended where it began. Narratively speaking. Kung ano yung naging parang...
When Fury said he finally found peace.
Oh my God, please. Positive. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Happy thoughts. Sige. Yan. Sige.
Sobrang Gina GK.
Bye, Secret Invasion. Bye. Doon ka na. Anyway. You mentioned earlier na Marvel is in a state of disarray. As in talagang both in front and behind the scenes.
Yes.
Okay? You also brought up a few excellent points.
Mm-hmm.
Yung tungkol kay Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
Although it's alleged kasi the court cases are
Alleged, yes.
still continuing. Pero
You know how the fandom goes
Yes,
kapag ka nagkaroon ng ganyang accusations.
hindi lang fandom, the House of Mouse itself.
Look what they did to James Gunn.
Diba?
Diba?
James Gunn was initially fired for, yes, and we're not defending his tweets, yung kanyang past na tweets. Many people can and should rightly be offended by what he said. Pero if you can be cancelled, if you, meaning a part of the Marvel Disney machine, can be cancelled by a series of inappropriate tweets, paano pa kaya yung talagang merong video evidence na you hit a woman in the face? Kahit sabihin pa natin na may mali yung babae, di ba?
True. See what happened to The Flash, di ba? When the studios did not listen to the accusations. The worst, di ba? The worst box office of any superhero movie ever.
Gusto ko yung ano eh.
Because
Gusto ko
they
yung
chose to
sweep it under the rug.
ignore.
Yeah.
Oo, yung mga kaso ni Ezra Miller.
Gusto ko yung ano eh, yung escalation ng mga kaso niya eh. Sobrang parang, it's so sad, it's funny. Na parang una, sinabihan siya na yung, correct me if I'm wrong, yung pinakaunang recorded niya na incident is yung lumabas sa Twitter, the TikTok, di ba? Yung sinakal niya yung fan niya. Yun ba yung parang una sa mga marami? O yun yung
lost
unang
track sa sobrang
diba?
dami.
Yun. So parang,
Just find the YouTubers who cover that. Marami sila.
yun. Tapos parang nangyari, nag-evolve siya into yung mga breaking and entering niya.
May kulto pa siya.
May
Parang
kulto pa
meron
siya.
siyang mga
Followers na mga underage.
Oo.
Tapos nag-culminate doon sa yung meron siyang hinostage na mag-ina doon sa bahay nung mag-ina. Tapos nag-squat pa siya doon sa bahay na yon. Sinabi niya bahay na daw niya yon.
Actually, sobrang problematic niya. That's
Diba?
just one of many.
Diba? So parang sobrang pinabayaan nila yon. Hindi sila nag-damage control. Tama ka. Anong ending? The lowest box office return of any superhero movie.
Oo.
Diba? Sobrang low bar to clear ng DC box office. And yet it didn't clear it. Because if people know that your lead actor
It's problematic.
yeah, we'll use the positive scripting term for it,
Problematic.
then people won't want to go near it because of the bad press. Hence Jonathan Majors
And Namor.
Teno Huerta.
Yeah.
Yun na. Unfortunately,
I can honestly say that they're problematic just because they're being accused of a lot of things.
yun na nga.
Not convicted yet. Alleged pa lang.
Oo.
Pero the fact that they're being accused and they have all these problems surrounding them warrants them to be called problematic.
And maliban lang doon hindi lang siya yung one person accused Ang dami. Diba? Yung fact na yun na parang, sige, we don't want to stand on any moral soapbox and preach na if you did wrong, you deserve to parang be canceled. Hindi. Okay?
We're not for cancel culture.
Of course, we're not. Pero kasi, where does accountability start? And where does it end? Diba? Do we just parang sweep these allegations under the rug because they are now part of a big media juggernaut, a big project like the MCU na parang the voices of the victims be damned. We're gonna go forward. And ito sa akin, personal ko na lang din to. Jonathan Majors is weird. He is so weird.
He's giving me a certain kind of vibe.
Diba?
Pero I don't wanna judge.
And then this is based primarily on press na he does for his other projects. Lalo na yung interview niya kay Stephen Colbert before.
Yung teacup ba yan?
Yung teacup. Yun. Sige, sabihin natin na may eccentricity siya. Sige, fine. We'll give him that. Everybody has their little eccentricities here and there.
Yeah.
Pero and I hope na I'm reading this incorrectly. Pero meron akong nakuhang parang undercurrent of tension na parang nagtitimpi lang si Jonathan Majors dahil pinagtatawanan. Hindi man pinagtatawanan pero yung parang playful jabs ni Colbert sa kanya.
Regarding the teacup that he always brings with him wherever he go.
And yung mga parang personal na anecdotal things na parang, syempre dahil comedy show, late night, kailangan ng bala ni Colbert para just to make light of the situation and hopefully put the interviewee at ease. Pero sa kanya parang yung nababasa ko doon sa interview na yun, parang at any time parang pwede niyang gusto niyang suntukin bigla si Colbert.
Parang there's something antagonistic?
Oo, talaga. Sa kanya. 'Di ba?
Meron konti.
Meron. Ako, yun yung yun yung basa ko doon. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. Pero parang now
parang may illusions of grandeur.
Maliban doon. Yun nga meron din pa siya. Na ganun.
Pero that's that's moot.
Yeah. And that's also one part lang of
yung mga questions na tinatanong mo kanina, like regarding the morality of the actors, the lead actors, I'm just happy that that's not my problem.
True. That's very true.
Pero we can talk about yung how it affects the story.
Yes, it does. It really does affect the story because they've constructed this quote-unquote saga. Tawag nila the multiverse saga. Sige, fine.
Ilang phases na ba yung multiverse saga?
Nakakadalawa pa lang. Actually, nasa gitna tayo dapat ng phase 5.
Okay. Phase 4, 5, 6.
7, 8.
Hindi, 7, 8 yung Secret Wars di ba?
Yun na nga yun. Hanggang dun daw.
This is my problem regarding this. Kasi I read the comics, di ba? They have established, kasi in-announce na nila kaagad kung ano yung Avengers na culminating event. 'Di ba? Yung Avengers Kang Dynasty tsaka Avengers Secret Wars. Now, with all these movies and series coming out mayat-maya, I don't see how this leads to that, to Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. Kasi konti lang yung related dun sa storyline na yun Kang Dynasty, Loki. Directly related. Multiverse, sige, count na natin si WandaVision tsaka si Doctor Strange. Tapos, nang sumunod? Ant-Man. He met Kang and killed Kang, apparently.
Diba? Ang weird nun hindi. Nung kahit yung narrative choice na yun Parang, ginawa mo dun sa Avengers 1. Biglang, si Thanos yung kalaban. Tapos napatay nila si Thanos. Tapos nalaman nila na, may ibang Thanos pa pala. Parang, huh?
Yeah, and then revealed dun sa Ant-Man end credits
Yung
na madami silang
Council
Kang.
of Kangs.
Na Council of Kangs. Okay, and now we're getting this going back to Secret Invasion, 'di ba? Iba na namang saga yung pupuntahan niya. Pupunta siya sa Secret Wars. Hindi ko alam kung i-combine ba nila yung Kang Dynasty tsaka yung Secret Wars, pero that's just too chaotic and masyado siyang madaming storylines na hindi connected, na hindi related to each other.
True. And ito pa, ang nakakatawa sa kanya is paano nila sinet up yung Phase 4? Shang-Chi.
Yes.
Tapos yung mga Hawkeye, Loki, tapos ano pa, Miss Marvel, yung mga ganun.
Moon Knight.
Nag-set up sila ng all new roster of heroes. Okay? And hindi man lang nila ni-reward yung pagsunod ng mga faithful, MCU faithful, doon sa kwento with the same kind of narrative satisfaction na binigay niya nung Infinity Saga. Kasi nung Infinity Saga, di ba, ang ginawa nila is Iron Man, tapos Iron Man 2,
then
tapos Captain America, Thor, tapos Avengers. So essentially, binigyan niya ng culminating event yung formation ng mga heroes. Tapos nag-phase 2 tayo. Phase 2 Ant-Man hanggang
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oo, tapos nagkaroon tayo nung sa dulo.
Yes.
Nagkaroon tayo ng Age of Ultron.
Tama.
Yun. So meron na naman tayong coalescing or culminating event kung saan yung mga na pick up nating mga heroes along the way nagsama-sama to fight another mini-boss, kumbaga.
Yes.
So kung sa Avengers 1, si Loki yung mini-boss 1. Tapos sa Avengers 2, si Ultron. Let's not get into why they made him a mini-boss. If in my opinion, mas malakas siya kay Kang tsaka kay Thanos. What if? Yan. Ganun na lang. Pero pagkatapos nun, hindi sila nag-Avengers 3 kasi nireserve nila yung Avengers for the final two. Infinity War and Endgame. So essentially, yung Captain America Civil War, yun yung naging
Avengers 3.
Yun yung naging culminating event nila sunod.
And yun yung parang naging major plotline going into
Infinity War.
Exactly. Kasi meron silang, kumbaga, they are heroes divided.
Yes. Diba? How do you deal with an existential threat with heroes divided?
Kaya sila natalo sa Infinity War.
Exactly. Kasi hiwa-hiwalay sila.
Diba?
Ayaw nila mag-usap.
Ang ganda ng storytelling And they set these rules for us.
Exactly.
Diba?
So, ito na nga actually, alam mo, merong konting parang Game of Thrones ism siya ng lumabas ng konti.
Basta ba't lumalabas si Emilia Clarke?
God bless her.
na naman siya.
God bless her soul. Okay?
Overpowered na naman siya.
She tries so hard. Okay? I'm not mad at her. I'm mad at her agent.
Yes.
Kasi whoever her agent is chooses the worst possible projects for her. Terminator. Solo. Game of Thrones yung dulo. Ito. Parang
she always puts herself in a position na hated, no?
Sige. Ayoko naman sabing hated kasi
polarizing.
I still believe na she's a wonderful human being.
Yes.
As evidenced by her appearance pag sa pwesto. Sobrang niya parang anjali niyang tao.
I like her as a person.
Napaka-affable niya.
Yes.
Na individual.
Very charming.
Pero yung on-screen siya parang simula nung nag-nosedive yung Daenerys character, parang kahit yung career niya, di na nag-make sense yung mga ibang roles niya. No? So sad. Anyway, ang nangyari ngayon, i-introduce yung mga new heroes. Shang-Chi, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, the Eternals. Oh my God, I forgot about the Eternals. Anyway, yun.
Para saan ba sila?
Diba? Yun. So, ganun na, ano yung naging parang pwedeng maging culminating event nila to bond them together and to make them parang not really say na okay, the new Avengers. Pwede nilang i-skirt around yun na sabihin nila, sige, wala nang magte-take ng mantle ng Avengers. E di sila, ano bang pangalan nung Tawagin nila yung sarili nilang The Revengers, yung gano'n, whatever.
Ano ba yung nandun sa DC?
Justice Society.
Ayun.
Ayun, tawag din nilang ganyan yung sarili nila.
Imbes na Justice League.
Diba? Pero at least, bring them together. Give us a reason to care for them.
And
together,
to root for them.
And to root for them. Alam mo, sobrang failed opportunity, sana, na gawing parang bonding event nung mga introduced na hero so far. Yung Celestial na nakalitaw hanggang ngayon sa Indian Ocean.
So,
in the MCU.
Did they just forget about that?
Oh my God.
Diba na merong nakaangat na ulo?
They kind of forgot.
ng Eternal dun sa Kasi Eternal ba tawag sa kanya?
Celestial.
Celestial, sorry.
Baby Celestial. So, in case may mga nakalimut na, and I'm pretty sure lahat tayo nakalimut na, okay? Yung ending ng Eternals, nalaman natin na egg pala yung Earth ng isang Celestial. And itong si Tiamut, yung big bad, hindi nga din siya bad eh. Kasi parang siyang, he's been here before us.
Hindi, it's a cycle, kumbaga.
Oo, yun. Oo. So parang antagonist lang.
It's the life cycle of galaxies and planets.
Yes.
Planets are made
as
eggs for celestial being born.
Yes.
And then that celestial will make more planets.
And make more celestials.
And that cycle has been going on since the beginning of everything.
Everything. Pero, dahil love nung mga Eternals, yung Earth, and the Eternals were sent here to parang prepare Earth for the birth of a Celestial, di ba?
Yes.
Pero itong specific group of Eternals na to, they love Earth so much that they prevent the birth of the Celestial inside it. And hindi lang nila pinrevent na parang yung hindi man lang nag-form yung Celestial at all. There's a freaking head of a Celestial along with its hand sticking out in the Indian Ocean in the MCU right now.
And Fury did not even care to mention that.
Diba?
Na yun yung work na ginagawa niya sa Saber.
Diba? If he is even doing something in Saber, na, okay, sige, he's in space. Fine, we'll give him that. Can't you see the head and the arms of a Celestial from space? Sabihin nga na, kita daw yung Great Wall of China from space. I don't know how true that is. Pero it's a Celestial.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sticking out.
Just a little correction.
Sorry.
The celestial antagonist was Arishem.
Okay.
The baby celestial is Tiamut.
Si Tiamut yung naka-stick out ngayon.
Oo.
Diba? Kawawa naman si Tiamut.
Oo. Hindi, wala naman siyang kasalanan and he stopped his own birth. Kasi
kinausap nila, diba? Nag-mind link sila dun sa Celestial.
Ni Cersei.
Ni Cersei.
Parang kinausap niya na, please, if you're born, planet will die. So parang pwedeng wag ka na lang ipanganak. Pwede ka bang umurong?
I know. And, with the exception of Shang-Chi, okay, kasi I really can't say anything negative about that. It's one of the best MCU movies.
One of my favorites.
Top 5 siya. And Simu Liu is perfect.
Perfect origin story.
Yun pa. Ka-level siya ng Iron Man 1. Tsaka ng Captain America 1.
The first Avenger.
Yan. Pero ever since the Eternals came out, nothing made sense anymore sa MCU. I tried to justify this in lack of interconnectivity between the stories. Yung, alam mo yung sinasabi ko sa'yo dati, na parang merong mga different comic book titles. Tapos, meron silang sarili nilang mga narrative. Sarili silang mga plot lines. And then, eventually, magkakaroon sila ng culminating event. Doon lang sila lahat magtatagpo-tagpo. And then they're gonna go their separate ways again. Okay? Ever since nag-start yung Disney Plus, parang ang nakukuha kong vision ni Kevin Feige for it is to essentially turn Disney Plus into the TV equivalent of a comic book.
Yes.
Na these stories may seem disconnected, pero there will eventually be a payoff. Unfortunately, we've been waiting close to 3 years with no payoff. Walang nagiging sama-sama na kwento. I mean, I don't know if you want to count the Marvels kasi yun yung first evidence ng crossover of a TV and movie characters.
Alam mo, mas crossover pa yung What If.
Yun na nga Parang sana ginawa lang nilang canon din yung What If.
Hindi ba canon? Kasi nga What If.
Sobrang loose part of the whole canon siya na parang si Watcher lang siguro yung MCU tangent character. Pero yung kanyang mga nakikitang mga iba-ibang mga lugar, hindi na sila part ng MCU per se.
Alam mo kung ano yung parang coming together of heroes lang na nakita ko? Was Doctor Strange. Yung Bizarro Avengers nila. Or Illuminati.
Panaalala mo na naman sa akin yan.
Ando si Captain Britain.
Ay, no.
Tapos si Professor X. Patrick Stewart, And
At hindi lang basta Professor X, Patrick Stewart. Fox. Professor X.
Na cartoons.
Cartoons.
Yes.
Diba? Yung ganon. So,
Mr. Fantastic, di ba?
Ito din pa yung isang problema ng Marvel Ang daya nila Alam nila kung paano kilitiin yung fans nila Kasi dumating yung Doctor Strange na movie na yun. Okay? It arrived at a time when everyone was so thirsty for a crossover na talaga na parang please bring everybody together.
Yes.
Okay? Ang naging tease sa atin nung ginagawa yung Doctor Strange, grabe yung yung speculation ng panahon na yun na may isa pang rumor na lalabas daw si Tom Cruise as an Iron Man variant. 'Di ba? Na parang kasi
lumabas na yung Loki at that
time.
Lumabas
na yung Loki.
And so we know about variants now.
Yes. Yung different, yun yung term na gamit nila to describe the different kinds of a certain person or character. Tapos, nag-lean in din sila doon sa yung meta aspect nung parang fan casting and yung mga old rumors from way, way, way back pa. Na parang nung bago pa nagkaroon ng Marvel Studios, sinabi daw na gusto daw gawin ni Tom Cruise yung Iron Man.
Or si John Krasinski.
Yun, fan casting yun. John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
Yes.
Diba? Na siguro na
at saka si Pike. Captain Pike.
Anson Mount.
Yun.
Meta aspect din yun kasi sinabi na kasi ang pangit ng Inhumans yung show. Meron nang kasama yung Inhumans as the worst Marvel TV show. Hindi na siya lonely. Eto, Inhumans, may kasama ka na, may Secret Invasion ka na, maglaro kayong dalawa. So ang parang sinabi ng mga fans doon na number 1 kasi binutcher yung role ni Black Bolt. 'Di ba? Yung tinanggalan siya ng costume niya. Tapos pati ang dami nilang binago, ang dami nilang.
So this is comparable to Deadpool losing his mouth.
Yun, exactly.
Okay.
Yan, they really fucked up the Inhumans dung show. Ngayon, ang parang fan outcry back then was give the Inhumans a fair shake. Diba? I-portray nyo naman sila ng matino. So, to his credit naman, nakinig naman si Feige. And kinast din niya yung same actor na Black Bolt as Black Bolt na tama na.
So, parang fan service lang talaga.
Yun na nga Naging sobrang fan service lang nung Multiverse of Madness. And yung fan service pa niya was so shallow.
Oo nga Alam mo bang inis na inis si Hayley Atwell dun sa cameo niya dun?
I think nakita ko yung article na yun recently. Sige. Sabi niya.
Dun sa press niya.
Sa Mission Impossible.
Sinabi niya na inis siya doon kasi pagsimula pa lang yung action, she was cut in half, bigla. Tapos napatay na siya.
Buti nga may action scene pa siya ng konti Ito nga si Black Bolt, tinanggalan ng bibig tapos sumabog na yung utak bigla, di ba? Tapos si Mr. Fantastic naging spaghetti. Diba? It's parang para siyang, eto na mga bata, binigay na namin yung gusto nyo, now shut up and stop asking questions.
What's happening to Marvel?
siguro ito, sige. We're talking about the film side of things. How films don't really make sense anymore. Okay?
Okay.
Pero one huge aspect of this is the TV side. And siguro, a little background for those of our fellow cine geeks na aren't in the know that much of the behind the scenes.
Sa production mismo.
Yun mismo. Nung nagsimula tong Disney Plus, okay, let's take us back to 2019.
Okay.
Okay? Little story time. Noong 2019, nagkakaroon na tayo ng seeds ng Disney Plus. Pinag-uusapan na yan na gagawa si Disney ng streaming service na lalaban kay Netflix. And why wouldn't they? I mean, they have the best library of content in the world.
True.
Star Wars, Marvel, the Disney collection, ba? Pixar.
At this point, Netflix is unchallenged
Yes.
in the streaming
Sobra.
arena.
Oo. Now, at the same time, Bob Iger, okay, nung panahon na yon, was on his way out as CEO of Disney. And he named his replacement Bob Chapek.
Okay.
Okay? Now, Bob Chapek was promoted from being the head of Walt Disney Parks. So, siya yung head ng theme park division nila.
Meaning Disneyland,
Disneyland,
Disney
Walt
World.
Disney World. Ngayon, nung nag-turnover na sila ng kanilang yung CEO responsibilities from Iger to Chapek, we're just gonna use their last names kasi parehas naman silang Bob.
Okay.
Okay? Nung binigay na ni Iger kay Chapek yung reins ng kumpanya, nagsimula na si Disney Plus. Okay, nilaunch na nila. Ngayon, etong si Chapek, he was known in the Walt Disney Company circle as someone who got results for the theme parks by maximizing customer value. Meaning, gusto niyang magbigay ng magbigay ng magbigay ng magbigay ng magbigay ng
Okay.
kung anong gustong bilihin at anong services na gustong i-avail nung mga pumupunta sa theme park. Di ba?
Yes, yes.
Now, since siya na ang head ng Disney as a whole, dinala niya yung mindset na yon sa paggawa ng content para sa Disney Plus.
Okay.
So, inutusan niya si Marvel, inutusan niya si
Star Wars.
inutusan niya si Pixar.
Mhm.
Na gumawa ng
Ng content.
sobrang daming content.
Okay.
Okay? Now,
And I'm
This-
sure people noticed that, right?
yes. Oh, nung noon pa lang sigurado may mga nag-dissent na parang, boss, parang hindi naman natagagana to. Pero syempre kasi, sino ba ang boss? Yan. Unfortunately, the pandemic happened. First strike of the Chapek era was the infamous Black Widow incident.
Oh, so he was behind that.
Yes.
Yung issue with Scarlett Johansson and the showing of Black Widow
Black
in
Widow.
the cinemas
Yes.
Versus the Disney Plus app.
Actually, ang gusto niyang gawin, pinagsabay niya ang release sa Disney Plus and yung release sa sinihan. Although hindi niya ginawang free to Disney Plus subscribers agad, may premium na bayad. So magbabayad sila ng $20 to unlock the movie, pero they can watch it streaming. They don't have to go to the cinemas.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Ang laking difference nun.
exactly.
Oh.
That was a big failure for him on two fronts. Number one, inantagonize niya yung isa sa mga pillars of Marvel in terms of yung sa actor side na since the beginning, ando doon na siya, si Scarlett Johansson.
Well, second movie.
Still. Diba? Still.
She's one of the big six.
Exactly. And two, it started a trend that unfortunately has poisoned Hollywood up to now.
Yes.
Yung mentality that movies, TV shows that we consider art, they just count it as content. They just count it as things that will bring in more subscriber numbers.
Mm-hmm. Well, that also cost what the WGA and SAG-AFTRA is fighting for right now.
Exactly.
Diba?
Very much so.
Kasi dun sa movies na nilalabas nila, streaming versus theatrical release. 'Di ba? Yun yung naging dispute nila eh.
Mm-hmm.
Na there is clear residual sa theatrical release. Kasi
nami-measure yung box office.
oo. Pero yung streaming, ayaw naman nilang ilabas yung numbers doon.
Ay, nilabas yung...
And halos wala talagang residuals na nakukuha yung mga doon. Creators doon.
Kaya hanggang ngayon, yung impact ng kanilang pag-look down on movies and TV as things that bring in money lang instead of works of art, yung mindset na yon, you're right, it affects the industry up to now. Pero also one other thing that it unfortunately brought on sa industry was yung nangyari na decision ni Warner Brothers to release their entire 2020 slate on streaming. And yun yung dahilan kung bakit umalis si Christopher Nolan sa Warner Brothers after 15 years of a very fruitful partnership.
Oo nga, no?
Kaya siya napunta sa Universal with
For
Oppenheimer. Yes.
Also, meron ding insider information about the Barbenheimer thing.
Yun pa.
Being about that, di ba?
Oo, na parang sa sobrang petty ni Warner Brothers, tinapat niya yung Barbie sa Oppenheimer, not knowing na the internet will make it Barbenheimer.
A meme.
Di ba?
And that meme really paid off.
It's the
literally
most successful movie meme of all time.
Yes.
Talaga. Pero yun nga lang, na yung nararamdaman natin ngayon na creative bankruptcy sa Marvel. Not just actually Marvel, kahit sa Star Wars din eh. Ako ngayon, I love Star Wars but not the new ones, except Andor.
Did you watch the second season of Mandalorian?
Hindi, tumigil tayo sa second season. Kasi doon lumabas si Luke Skywalker. Pero hindi na natin pinanood yung Boba Fett. At saka yung
Did Boba
season
Fett
3.
really need a show?
He brought in subscribers. God.
Obi-Wan Kenobi had his own show. Ahsoka Tano will have her own show.
Alam mo, ito
Alam mo kapag nagkaroon ng sino ba?
Sino pa? Dami pa. Bigyan natin ng show si C-3PO.
Si Jar Jar Binks.
Pag nagkaroon ng show si Jar Jar Binks, nasusunugin ng mga fans yung Disneyland to the ground.
Oh my God.
Pero,
Haunted Mansion has its own movie now, di ba?
Do we even want to talk about that? Okay.
Well, we saw it.
Sige, quick tangent review.
Since it's also Disney.
It's also Disney. Just wait for it sa Disney Plus. It's gonna come out in 45 days. Kung meron kayong Disney Plus sa bahay, you're better off waiting for it. Okay?
This is a pre-streaming phrase, what I'm about to say. Pero parang siyang straight to DVD.
Oo.
Movie, no?
Buti nga ako straight to DVD. Sa akin, straight to VHS.
Sobra ka naman.
Ano siya, parang yung mga Lion King 2.
Kaya Little Mermaid 2.
Yung mga Aladdin 2 and 3. Yun, yung mga makikita mo na lang bigla sa
straight to VHS.
Sa Video City na, oy, may Aladdin 2 pala. Hindi ko alam yun ha.
Uy, hala, may anak pala si Ariel.
Oo, yung mga ganon.
Oo.
Wow, okay. Blast from the past.
Pero,
yes.
It's a fun Sunday night movie.
On Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus.
Okay, don't go out. Don't spend your money commuting and eating outside and then manonood kayo ng sine na
pang
streaming lang. Talaga, literal.
Keith can't really carry a movie yet. I love him. I loved him in Atlanta.
Magaling siya sa Atlanta, yes.
I loved him in Get Out.
Mm-hmm.
But he cannot carry an entire movie yet.
Yes.
I wish it was Owen Wilson na lang.
Sana nagpalit siya ng role.
Siya na lang yung lead.
Sige. Pero medyo na-sidetrack tayo ng konti. Okay, quick Haunted Mansion. Don't watch it in a movie house. Wait for it sa Disney Plus. Okay. Going back to Marvel. Okay. Siguro kasi medyo we're running a bit long. And let's just, I guess, summarize this real quick. Okay. The biggest problem of Marvel right now isn't the characters being introduced are parang meh. Hindi. Kasi they all have their opportunities to shine. Mm-hmm. They won't be chosen if they're not relevant to the story they're trying to tell. Ang problema lang is, they're trying to tell it in a way that doesn't appeal anymore to the way that the old Marvel story was told. They're trying to tell a story with this streaming service and they want to make more money in mind. Imbis na parang, how do we propel the story? How do we keep these people coming back for more?
Yes.
Hindi eh. Ang gusto nila, how do we get more people over to us?
In
In terms of subscribers, yes. Tapos, unfortunately, ramdam mo din yung burden ni Feige na gusto niyang may quality pa rin i-maintain.
You know what? I think he's just spread too thin. He was also promoted, diba?
Yes. Chief Creative Officer.
Chief Creative Officer of
All Marvel.
Including comics, animation, podcasts, movies, and TV shows.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the entire whole Marvel shebang.
Kaya kasi maganda yung Infinity Saga was because Kevin Feige really worked on it closely.
Tutok lang siya dun sa sine.
Oo, and there was no TV shows to be mass-produced.
Well, we should have known back then how much disdain he had for TV shows nung hindi man lang niya kinonekta yung Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doon sa larger MCU narrative.
Even Daredevil and yung
Agent Carter. Diba?
No matter how good those shows were, hindi siya connected kasi he is a film guy.
Yes.
Diba?
Tapos, ngayong nakuha na niya yung gusto niya lahat, yung full control of the entire Marvel narrative, so to speak. Parang hindi naman niya alam ngayon kung paano niya paghahati-hatiin yung titell yung story na gusto niyang itel dito sa mga sine. Kasi,
and knowing him as well, he has this very special thing about X-Men and Fantastic Four, diba?
Ay, oh, yes. Thank you for bringing that up. For those, again, this is behind the scenes knowledge. You see, you're getting so much tidbits from the Cine Geeks podcast talaga.
Yes.
Kevin Feige started out his career as an associate producer on the old X-Men and Fantastic Four movies.
X-Men as in yung
Hugh Jackman and
Patrick
Fantastic
Stewart.
Four as in yung sila Jessica Alba.
Yeah.
Yes, and sila yung Chris Evans pa. Yun. Actually, to go way back pa, nagsimula siyang PA nung director ng Superman na 1978. Pero hindi siya kasama doon. Ibig sabihin ko is yung nung nagkaroon na ng sariling production company si Richard Donner, okay, yung director ng old Superman, naging PA siya for that company. And sila Donner, naging producers sila nung mga movies na yon. Kasi sila yung parang marunong sa superhero movie eh. So, pinasok siya doon sa mga projects na yon kasi siya din yung may intimate knowledge ng Fantastic Four and X-Men.
Yes.
May mga behind the scenes na mga footage na kapag may pinag-uusapan about story, bigla siya mag-i-interject na, hindi, ito dapat eh. Siya si No Actually eh.
He really is the Marvel guy.
He's the Marvel nerd talaga. And ever since Disney got Fox, they bought Fox out 2019. So, nasa umbrella na rin ng Disney Marvel yung mga Fox Marvel, which is X-Men. Anyway, yung X-Men and Fantastic Four is something na talagang gustong-gustong ayusin ni Feige. And yun, tama ka, one of our quote-unquote conspiracy theories ba, is he is so dead set on making the perfect X-Men and Fantastic Four movie na nakakalimutan na niya na ang dami niyang mga ginajuggle na mga narrative plates. Diba?
He's not putting his undivided attention in this new saga that they're starting.
And actually,
it's suffering so much without him.
And you can also see this. Okay, one more insider tidbit for our Cine Geeks. Okay. I don't know kung napapansin nyo sa mga recent projects na madalas credited as producer. Of course, he's Kevin Feige. Pero may mga shows na ang credit sa kanya, Kevin Feige lang. Pero may mga show na ang credit sa kanya is Kevin Feige, PGA. Ngayon, the PGA mark, or what's called the Producers Guild mark, okay, is a title that is given by the Producers Guild of America to a certain individual kapag nalaman nila or kapag na-determine nila na yung isang production is the full responsibility of that producer. As in talagang tinrabaho niya yung sine talaga.
Kumbaga sa series, siya yung showrunner.
Yes, yun, exactly. So, you'll see that in the Barbie movie, Margot Robbie PGA.
Yeah.
Kasi tinrabaho niya from the ground up.
Yes,
yung
even
scene
the selection of director,
writer,
casting, nandun siya.
Siya talaga lahat. So, ngayon, kapag nakakapanood kayo ng mga Marvel movies and TV shows, para try nyo lang tignan next time na manonood kayo, makikita nyo na yung mga projects na talagang sinasabi niya na involved siya, merong nakalagay na produced by Kevin Feige PGA. Konti lang yung mga shows na makikita mong talagang siya yung gumawa. And one of them, at the top of my head, is Hawkeye. Yes, Hawkeye is a show na proud siya na full control siya. And actually, if you compare it to the more recent Disney Plus works for Marvel, Hawkeye was a very, very well-made, competent, surprisingly funny, and actually endearing na Marvel story. And ang ganda kasi na ipasa niya yung mantle ng Hawkeye from Clint Barton over to Kate Bishop. Ayoko naman sabihin seamlessly, pero nagawa niya ng maayos, di ba? Pero if you're gonna look at other Marvel projects made, like itong Secret Invasion, produced by Kevin Feige lang. Now, unfortunately, doon mo makikita na hindi na siya sobrang involved doon sa kwento. And siguro we're gonna go back a bit dito sa Secret Invasion in saying na yung project itself, it was very, very evident how the person that Feige put in charge of the show didn't pay attention to the continuity of the entire MCU so far. Diba?
Sobra.
Kinalimutan niya na may celestial na nakalitaw sa Earth. Kinalimutan niya na i-explain kung gaano katagal ng Skrull si Rhodey.
And si Evercross, yeah.
Kinalimutan niya kung gaano katagal na si Evercross na Skrull. Months after we had Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Hindi nila sinabi na Skrull na si Ross doon. Diba? Tapos ito namang sa States, yung presidente, hindi ba sila nag-learn ng lesson nila after nung extremist incident sa Iron Man 3? Yun, yung masama doon, yung vice president. Diba? Kasi gusto niyang bigyan ng parang brand new leg yung daughter niya na may polio. So, kinomission niya si Aldrich Killian to come up with extremists to hopefully make this life-changing cure sana for his daughter. Ang ending, yung extremist, ginamit ni Killian para maging Mandarin.
Pseudo-Mandarin.
True. Yes. Sorry. The fake Mandarin.
Yeah.
Pseudo-Mandarin is right. Yan. So, nawala na sila ng parang double check dun sa mga nakadikit sa presidente pagkatapos ng nangyari sa Iron Man 3. May nakadikit na naman sa kanyang part of government.
Isa pa. What happened to She-Hulk?
Diba? Yun pa. Kung ang pinag-uusapan dito ay rights ng mga superhumans or people with abilities, why didn't She-Hulk defend Gravik? Ba't hindi pumunta si Gravik doon sa courts na sabihin na, meron kaming labor malpractice na gustong ireklamo dito?
Actually, ang isang pinakamalaking tanong ko na hindi nasagot ng Secret Invasion na pinaka-relevant talaga, it was not just Fury who promised the Skrulls a new home. It was also Captain Marvel. And mas meron siyang responsibility doon kasi half-Kree siya.
At dinala niya yung mga Skrull dito. Diyos ko, Maria Joseph.
So, meaning, bakit hindi lumabas si Captain Marvel dun sa Skrull War? Bakit hindi tinawagan ni Fury si Captain Marvel? Tinawagan niya si Captain Marvel para kay Thanos, pero tungkol sa Skrulls, hindi niya tatawagan. It's his fight daw. Anong klase yun? Diba?
Tapos ito pa nakakatawa doon. It's his fight daw kasi siya yung nag-promise parang new home for the Skrulls. Pero ang ginawa niyang ending, pinabayaan lang niya yung mga Skrulls.
We just ended how we started.
Oo.
He went back to Saber, solving nothing. And naggumawa lang siya ng isang super overpowered super Skrull.
Ano ito pa? He started an interspecies war. People are now killing each other thinking na the other person is a Skrull. Ito pa, nakakatawa. Ang ginawa lang dito, ginawa lang siyang montage sa dulo. Pero someone shot the Prime Minister in the head in live TV. And it was nothing. Tapos someone shot the political commentator na Skrull din on live TV and it was nothing. It was a montage.
Yun na nga Marvel already established that they live in a shared world. 'Di ba? Where are the other heroes that they mass-produced, that they introduced ng sunod-sunod?
And their explanation was so fucking lame. Sabihin ba naman ni Fury na tinanong siya ni Olivia Colman, where are your Avenger friends? Yes. Question. Thank you for asking what's on all our heads. Ang sagot pa naman ni Fury, this is my battle. How is this your battle?
When he left.
Iniwan mo lang din. Tapos yung nagdala pa dito sa mga Skrull, Avenger din, asa si Captain Marvel. Diba? Parang, oh my God. We promised na we weren't going to be so negative, but it's the state of Marvel right now. It's so sad. It's
and
as
it's
bad
not
as
just,
DC.
It's not just about on-screen
Alam mong yung ano yung nangyayari sa likod din na parang
money talks din talaga money grab ang ni Disney
nawala na yung focus niya sa making a good story. Napunta na sa making more subscribers.
And Diyos making more content after content after content.
Diyos ko Maria Jose, puro tayo content. Nawawala na tayo ng
They took a page out of Netflix's book, which is the worst thing you can do. Some of the Netflix content naman is good diba? We watched They Cloned Tyrone. That was good.
True, sige. Tsaka yung Extraction 2, sige, fine. Pero aside from that, can you even name an original Netflix creation na maganda?
Well, they're all delayed because of the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strike. Yun din yun din yung isa pa na i-represent mo yung mga networks They don't really pay a lot of importance on the quality of the content as long as they churn out content para mapanood ng subscribers nila.
Sobrang tama ka dyan.
And it suffers. We should be on the side of the writers and the actors in this fight. Kasi they've become so greedy na they are even sacrificing the storytelling aspect of what they do. They've forgotten the art and the passion.
They've forgotten why they did all this in the first place. Naging pera-pera
oversaturated na talaga yung sobrang daming streaming apps, sobrang daming content dun sa mga streaming apps na yon. Wala ka nang mapili. There's choice paralysis. Diba?
Even the projects that we thought were good, kinain na rin ng quote-unquote sistema of mediocrity. Black Mirror Season 6, with the exception of the first episode, was so awful. Pardon the first episode's name. We don't want to be too negative. We're like this because Marvel taught us to expect quality. Sige, sabihin natin na it's popcorn entertainment. Fine. I mean, we can't all survive on art films every single day. Kailangan din natin nung mindless entertainment that just make us smile, laugh, and cheer. And get excited every time we see our heroes on screen. Yes. Pero, if yung quality ng content na nilalabas related to that is diminishing, every project that comes out, papaba yung kalidad. Parang, hindi ka ba makakaramdam ng betrayal? Ako nakakaramdam ako ng betrayal kasi ako yung nagbayad ng 1-year subscription natin sa Disney Plus. Diyos ko Maria Josep, nagbayad ako ng 3,000 para dito.
And it's also because Marvel is special to us. We already invested more than 10 years in their stories, diba? In our heroes.
And hindi lang yun. I mean, thank you for bringing up that last point na Marvel is special to us. I don't know how this applies to you, our fellow Cine Geeks, pero to us, I mean, I can name special moments in our life together by Marvel movie. Ganun siya ka-importante sa atin. Ganun siya naging parang sobrang, hindi lang siya sine eh. Parang siyang part siya ng kultura natin, part na siya ng pagkatao natin.
The same way na part ng childhood ko yung Harry Potter.
Diba? Yung mga ganun.
And I can name significant events of my life base dun sa kung anong Harry Potter yung lumabas.
Exactly. Diba? So ngayon
and kung sino yung kasama kong manood.
Exactly yun. Diba? For Marvel, it's
the
gone
same.
no longer. It's the same. So, for you to see that this series that you've associated with good and bad memories in your life has itself gone down to the bad route. Napapangit siya ng papangit. And yung investment mo na binibigay mo dun sa kwento na supposedly i-reward ka. Walang ROI so far for the past 3-4 years. Puro tayo invest. Wala man lang bumabalik. Parang nakaka-foul na siya. Hindi na siya nakakatuwa.
And we're not the only ones who are disappointed.
Yeah, the entire Marvel subreddit, Marvel Studios subreddit is up in arms because of how bad Secret Invasion is.
Yeah.
So it's not just us.
And that's okay.
Pero
I'm still hoping na they can pick this up and make it make sense.
Ito, sa akin talaga. And I hope na I'm not saying this in hyperbole, pero last chance niya para bawiin niya sarili niya, Loki. This October. Sige. Kevin Feige, if you didn't understand kung ano yung mga sinasabi namin Tagalog, ito, i-Englishin ko para maintindihan mo. Attention, Kevin Feige, PGA. Okay? Loki is your last chance. Loki Season 2. Okay? Make sure that Loki Season 2 is one of the best Disney Plus Marvel shows ever. Or I promise you will lose everyone's interest. No one will even watch yung pinagpipitagan mong Fantastic Four and X-Men. Okay? Kapag lumabas na yan. Especially with how you're treating your writers right now. Diba? Deadpool can't even... I'm even wary of Deadpool 3 now. Kasi, ano ba ang strength ng Deadpool movies? Yung non-stop ad-lib ni Ryan Reynolds. Yung writing. Exactly. And because of the strike,
he can't do that.
He can't ad-lib. He can't become the creative force that has carried the Deadpool movies to where it is. It's so ironic na just Deadpool for a moment. The reason why the Deadpool series was brought to life was because of how bad the last strike butchered Deadpool.
In X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Exactly.
We touched upon that nung WGA SAG-AFTRA episode natin.
And now, Deadpool 3 is being threatened by another strike.
Yeah.
Cycle ba natin to? Na parang every time may strike, merong Deadpool na sa-sacrifice. And supposedly, ito yung entrada ng mga mutants to the MCU. Itong Deadpool 3. So parang, how are you going to save this?
Ultimately, our question to Kevin Feige is, whose side are you on?
Are you on the fans' side? Or are you on money side?
Are you on the creative side, the writer's side, the actor's side, or the producer's side?
Kasi for the longest time, we know the answer is you've been on our side. You've said that it's the fans who make the Marvel machine go on and on and on. What's happening now? Why are you a slave to the creative bankruptcy that upper management is heaping upon you? So sad.
Yeah. But we hope we're wrong.
Please, I want to be wrong. I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes. And
love is an understatement. It's a part
emotions
of me.
Are high at the moment. As you can tell.
Yes.
Sobrang invested talaga ni Roy dito.
And nakakatawa kasi ito pa yung toned down version itong discussion natin na to. Kasi pagkatapos nung Secret Invasion episode, natatay ko, what the ano to?
Actually, nung naglalaban na sila sa dulo, di ba, sabi ko, this is exactly the ending na nilalampun ni She-Hulk doon sa,
No, yung sinasabi niya, yung sinasabi niya kay Kevin.
Na parang, is this what you want? Is this the ending you want? Really? Are you kidding me right now? Can't you think of anything better than this? And then they did it. Yay!
Diba?
Yeah.
So, yeah. We are hoping for the best, but we're not expecting much. We hope to be proven wrong by Loki Season 2. I really, really want to be proven wrong. Kasi ito, yung Loki Season 2, nung nasa bad days pa si Doctor Who noon, the Chibnall days. God. Thank you for coming back, Russell T. Davies. Anyway.
Yeah, only Whovians will get this.
Yes. Pero nung bad times pa nung Doctor Who, nung lumabas yung Loki Season 1, sinabi natin na, wow!
This is our new Doctor Who.
This is our new Doctor Who.
So Marvel has a new Doctor Who.
Paano naging si Loki, si Doctor? Ang galing, di ba? Ganda. So parang ngayon.
Tapos may variants din siya.
Di ba? Ayun, meron pa siyang mga different na regenerations niya kuno. Never, ganyan.
Yeah.
So, ngayon parang, okay. So, si Doctor Who is saved and coming out in November. Sana lang si Loki Season 2 pa yung saving grace pa rin.
T-minus 100,000 minutes.
100,000 minutes. Come on, Joseph.
Kinumpute ko ba yun? Oh my God.
Marvel. Ay, Marvel.
Well, that wraps up. That ends our episode.
Ay. Ako, ikaw, do you have anything to, any last, parting thoughts about this?
If there's anyone who liked Secret Invasion, please tell us why.
We absolutely want to know why. Talaga.
Yeah.
Please make us understand. Why? What did you like about it? Kung sabihin mo action, sige, fine. Sige, panuhin namin yun. Kasi
if it's Emilia Clarke.
Si Emilia Clarke?
Yeah.
Sige. Pero, okay. Sige. We respect your opinion. Fine. Okay. Well, I guess that wraps up our discussion, quote-unquote.
Commiseration.
and commiseration about the state of Marvel Studios and Marvel's Secret Invasion. If you have any thoughts you want to add on dito sa discussion natin today, you can just go ahead and visit our Facebook page, the Cinegeeks Podcast. You can like and comment, even share this post that we will have for this episode. We're also on Instagram and Threads. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We love hearing the thoughts of our fellow Cinegeeks right now.
That's right.
And I guess that's it. So,
yes. And we hope wherever you are, have a great rest of your day. And for my co-host Troy, this has been Angela. Thank you for listening to the Cinegeeks Podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.